Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's morning musings is on ethics and judgment. I'm doing a series of daily morning musings, and I'm using posts from my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, as inspiration. Now, I wrote these a while back, and the world has completely transformed since then. So if I encounter anything that is out of date, I'm going to stop myself and I am going to give you the most updated information. And then at the end, if I haven't said all that's needed to be said, then I will summarize with what's going on in the world today. And I also have some special offers, so stay tuned to the very end to see what they are. Ethics and judgment. As spirit, there is no ethics, no judgment, no good or bad, right or wrong. Everything is neutral and joyous at the same time. It's only in this physical game that all those things come into play. Judgment is the glue that keeps the illusion in place. When we're judging, we're not only saying that something is good or bad, but also that it's real. Imagine watching a bunch of kids on a playground. They gather together and they decide to make up a game. They pick sides. They make up rules. They take the game really, really seriously. They get upset if someone breaks the rules. They cry if they're on the wrong side, or if the other side wins and they lose. As an adult watching, you're not caught up in the game. You may even find it amusing. From your perspective, you know that life goes on and it will be a different game tomorrow, or they will even forget about it when it's time to go home. That's how you, as consciousness, view life on Earth. Everything here is just a game. From your expanded viewpoint, there is no good or bad. It's all a bunch of fun and interesting stories. Whether some species of wildlife became extinct or the other guy got elected, it's all very entertaining to spirit. I'm going to interrupt because I had some ethics about wildlife becoming extinct. And I'm going to interrupt myself interrupting because the other thing I've noticed, actually, I just heard this the other day, that there was a species of wildlife that they thought was extinct and it's come back. So this hologram is such a marvelous, complex creation of consciousness. That greatest aspect of ourselves is consciousness has a bigger imagination than we do. So there's all sorts of things. There's species that we haven't discovered yet. There's species that haven't been manifested into form yet. So yes, from that perspective of consciousness, it's all very entertaining. Anything you have strong opinions or feelings about limits your energy. Whatever you believe or judge as good holds as much power as that what you deem is bad. Now, limits aren't bad. From your expanded self's viewpoint, they are delightful because consciousness doesn't take anything here seriously. But if we let go of ethics and judgment, won't people go around murdering and stealing and sinning all over the place? Well, think about this. Murder comes from a strong feeling of right and wrong, and stealing comes from the belief that others have something you lack. So all of those things are coming from ethics and judgment as well. If you act as yourself, as consciousness, then you recognize that everyone around you is a reflection of you, a cast member in your movie. You won't need to kill them or write them out of your script. You'll just change your focus and they'll morph into someone that you like, or they will exit out of your storyline, just in the same way that characters don't come back for the next season. And the example I gave is like they recast Darren in the old Bewitched series. So in the 1960s, there was a TV show called Bewitched, and the actor who played Darren in the first couple of seasons, I think he had chronic back pain, and so he had to quit. And they brought in someone who's very similar. They had a similar jawline, but physically they're completely different, but they didn't tell anybody. And I remember watching this and started going, I think that's a different Darren. So it's a great metaphor for when you start to make these changes as consciousness. Characters in your hologram will change and you find that you have a completely different Darren. Or they'll spin off into a miniseries of their own on a completely different network. As spirit, you are infinitely abundant, and you know you can manifest anything that you desire. So there's no need to take it from someone else. If you don't have it, you're either in the process of bringing it into form or enjoying the limitation of the illusion of lack, because that's equally as entertaining to consciousness that is infinite abundance to have nothing as to have a lot of things. They're equally as creative. Sin is the misinterpretation of the original Aramaic word that is an archery term meaning missing the mark. It's been heaped with judgments and ethics over the centuries as a brilliant way to control and convince individuals that they're the opposite of their true selves. To err is human. It's one of the exciting aspects of the game to the one that's all-knowing. So just think of how the world would change if we took away that erroneous concept of sin. Abraham Hicks says that you can never get it wrong. Your expanded self is the one overseeing the playground. If you made a mistake, your expanded self is enjoying it through you. When you release judgment and ethics, you let go of the emotional charge that has locked you into the playground level of the game. Letting go of good and bad, you relax into the expanded experience of spirit. It becomes easier to navigate through this life. Things manifest into your realm in unexpected and delightful ways. I'm going to interrupt again because this actually reminds me of a phase that I noticed students going through, that when they first start to get this idea of there's no good or bad, and they just start going around acting like assholes and kind of missing the point that everyone is consciousness. So they're not just illusions in the hologram. And the thing is when you really identify yourself as consciousness, you don't need to act like an asshole. You're going through this reality with a tremendous appreciation of the beauty of the world. Byron Katie's The Work is a great way to turn yourself around when you're stuck on a subject. When you find yourself ranting about a topic, resisting someone's politics, just ask yourself, is this true? How do you know it's true? How do you feel when you think that thought? Who would you be without it? And then the mind blower is to reverse the statement. They should vote conservative, or I should vote conservative, or I love doing taxes. So in so doing, you shine light onto all possibilities and you raise your level of neutrality. This week, start by noticing anything that you're judging, anything that holds an emotional charge for you. Take a step back and view it from your expanded self. View it as consciousness. You can even do the work on it and ask those 5 questions if a step back is too great a leap for you. Notice how you feel as you're doing this and how things change for you as the week goes on, and relax and enjoy the ride. So I think this is a great article, especially with what's going on in the world today. Things have become so polarized, and it really, to me, feels like there is one side that is really illustrating that this world is a hologram because they're so off the rails. There's also aspects of the other side that is being very reactive to this and also kind of acting off the rails. And the quietest part are the people just getting on with it, sincerely and genuinely acting from their own highest consciousness. So I would suggest just notice within yourself your ethics and your judgments, and notice if they're out of present time, and dropping them might give you a more expanded experience of life. So if you're noticing anything about what's going on in your life today, please leave a comment below. I love reading your comments. And if you want a free sample of one of my consciousness techniques, click below on the skybox technique and it'll give you a bigger perspective of the world and your life. And if you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. I do individual sessions where I take a look at the essence of who you are and what's going on in your life today. I can answer any question that you might have, and I can also help you make energetic changes, and I record it all for you. And if you want to learn how to do this for yourself, go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and sign up for my coaching special where I work with you one-on-one, tailor-made just for you, and give you consciousness techniques that you can transform your life. Go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you tomorrow in another Morning Musings.